How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. The transfer window is open, people. It is open. The first period, anyway. Then it closes. Then it reopens again. But it is open now. We are open for business. Incomings, outgoings. It can all be officially done. No more hush hush. Let's get things going. Very interesting comment yesterday. Somebody said yesterday. Let me see if I remember this right. Now the speculation can stop. On the contrary, my friend, this is where it just begins. Okay, this is the fun time. But people, we're going to speak about a few links, updated links as well from previous ones that we've had, and just get your thoughts and feelings about where we are currently now. How you feeling about the window coming up? What do you want to see? What do you expect to see? And everything else in between. Obviously, we'll keep it the chat flowing. Obviously, super chats always get priority, but yeah, we'll keep it moving. I'm also going to touch on PSG last night. Got to speak on that. So, you know what, people? Let's get straight into it. Let's get straight into it, man. Ash is saying here, hi, KG, great to see you. Hope you're well. I'm good, man. I'm very, very good. I'm very calm, man. Very calm. I should say that. But first of all, I need to congratulate PSG. Lovely animatronic or animation going across from Google. Lovely. Love that celebration. 5-0 winners against Inter. And the reason why I want to discuss this or just quickly touch on it, is because they, much like Real Madrid last year when they played in the final, and Barcelona this year, if you've seen Barcelona play, they play a free-flowing style of football that doesn't compromise too much on defense, but it allows attackers to be attackers. And that has been my biggest gripe about current football over the last few years, where you see wingers run up to a defender, look like they're going to do something, stop, and pass it back. That's one of my number one tropes I hate about current football. And PSG absolutely dispelled that. Now, usually football is a copycat world. Okay. Usually football is a copycat world. And what you get is whatever successful people copy. We've seen it with Pep. Everyone now from Premier League down to League Two thinks they can play out from the back with average Joes with no technical ability and think it's going to work for them. It doesn't work for everybody. It works for Pep, won't work for everybody. But I just hope now we can restore the feeling of football again, where we've seen Champions League games this year. And they've been absolutely brilliant, man, because teams are allowed to express themselves a bit more rather than you can see where the ball's going. There's some games, people, I watch, I know exactly where the ball's going to go. It's like I've watched it already because the patterns are so robotic. But PSG restored the feeling. Desiree Doué, who I actually spoke about a couple of years ago, by the way, when he was a youngster at Rennes, absolutely balling out on the biggest stage. We all know what Kvara's like. We was linked with him at one time, remember. Just lovely to see that, man. And that's what I hope to see from next season onwards. Hopefully coaches loosen up those, those robotic strings, tactical strings a bit more, and we can see more free-flowing football, man. We deserve PSG versus Barca. Nah, well, they didn't go through, Chris. You can only play who you can play. And listen, they got taken care of, Barcelona. They did well. It would have been nice to see that kind of final, but they didn't get the job done. It's one of those. Spider here saying, hey, KG, hope you're good. Hope we make some early transfers. Well, what I want to say as well in this, and before we get into the whole transfer thing, and just quickly, by the way, just on robotic football, I've mentioned it before on here, but it came up in my head again today. If you remember when Norwich scored that absolute thunderbolt of a goal, can't remember who scored the goal for him, but it was outside of the box shot, off the bar and in kind of thing. And I text a footballer, 23 years old, I think he's 24 now, and I said, why don't we see more goals like that? And he says, because the XG is too low on it. That's when I knew the game was gone. But hopefully him and everyone else can get back to the feeling and get back to being jugadors. But yeah, that's it as well, comrade. It's lovely to see them manage to give players freedom, Cage, like Enrique does. Yeah, and the thing is, comrade, it's not like they were delegating their defensive responsibilities. Two of the biggest pressers of the game were Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. Them two, they were the ones that were pressing from high, making things happen, interrupting Inter's whole play. And that's what I'm saying. You don't have to compromise, but then you don't have to be too defensive. But listen, the whole PSG team was cooking. Hakimi, different levels in it. It's when you're talking actual like world-class talents and fullbacks, Hakimi's on a different level, man. I still think he should have celebrated against Inter. He's only there a year, man. Come on, man, get into it. Modern football and all that stuff. But listen, people, let's move on now to us. And somebody said there about transfers in terms of we should get some in early. Of course, that is always the thing. We want them in early. We'd hope that we can get in two in today. That's the fan of us thinking that. But realistically, people, there's a couple things we have to look out for in terms of transfers, and it's all sometimes it's to do about timing. Sometimes teams don't want to take on a player this early if they don't have to. Just speaking to a couple of agents that I know, sometimes deals are done, but they can be, but with PSR and everything now, they could be completed after the accounting period, which I think is the 30th of June. So it's not saying that we won't see anybody come in before June, but sometimes deals are already done, but then just stopped until the next accounting period. And also, as well, with that, clubs don't want to pay that extra month salary if they don't have to, unless it's like one where there's a transfer battle and you have to get in quick. Then, of course, you have to make your move, you know, there and then. But sometimes if you're in a one-on-one battle and you know that player is going to come to you and you agree everything, you can hold off the transfer for a bit. So there's always those things to kind of look out for, but hopefully we still get in some bodies because we do need some actual quality in the team. And listen, Fabrizio put this out yesterday, and unfortunately it was just after I released my video that I dropped yesterday, so I couldn't really cover it, but I thought I'd come here today and discuss it with you guys. But Leon have entered the Firpo chat, and Fabrizio put this out yesterday. They've made a proposal to Junior Firpo as a free agent, negotiations underway. Olympic Leon pushing to make it happen with Firpo available due to contract to expire at Leeds United. AC Milan are also keen if Theo Hernandez leaves, which is one hell. I mean, Theo Hernandez and Junior Firpo in the same sentence is kind of crazy, but obviously, with him being free, there's going to be a lot more suitors than, say, if he was under contract here and available for, say, 15 million. I think there would be a lot less suitors on the table. But I think the fact that Junior Firpo is gone this far kind of says that he's going to go. And for me, I maintain it's the right decision. I get it in the chat here, what you think, what you would do. But for me, Firpo, it was the right thing to do. You've helped get us up. You was integral part of that in the last 2 years. Go on your merry way. Don't try the Premier League thing again. Because I've seen it now. As always with everything, people try and rewrite history. People try and rewrite history. Oh, when Firpo first came, there was COVID, there was a different system, everything else. Guys, it doesn't fact. Okay, he was flat out bad, and he was so bad that he was masking how bad Stuart Dallas was at that time as well. Because Stuart Dallas was when he was in the second year, I think in the year we got relegated. Oh no, it wasn't the year we got relegated. He was bad as well, but Firpo was just that bad. He overtook everything, and it was noticeable. Doesn't matter the systems, doesn't matter everything else. Don't give no excuses. He was poor, and also he wasn't available at the time as well. Don't rewrite that. It happened that way. You can't rewrite history. He's then come down to the Championship and he's made a good fist of it. But I still saw the defensive deficiencies in his game against second-tier opposition, which just make me think, nah. If he goes into Europe, awesome for him. Saw somebody else as well say about him leaving on a free is a bit of a silly move or unfair move. I'm trying to use clean language here, but you know, something what all men have, but women don't. But I can't disagree more. You know, he's literally played out his contract and helped get us up to a position now where we can compete in the Premier League again. He's free to go where he wants to go. It's no skin off my nose, and that I just don't see it in that way, me personally. But yeah, let's have a look here. Firpo is always a wing back, not a fullback. There's better out there anyway. Firpo got destroyed in the Premier League. Now 2 years later, it's even stronger. He'll be embarrassed, sadly. Yeah. Yeah, people keep it on Firpo. Yeah, it's time to go. Yep, good luck to Firpo. I think he'd struggle in the Prem. We need to sign 2 left backs. Yeah, that's my thinking anyway. We need to sign two left backs. We need to overhaul a couple of positions, and the left back is one. We've seen how important fullbacks are. We need to get our fullbacks absolutely correct. We need 2 fullbacks and 1 right back. Someone said about Isaac Schmidt. I mean, Isaac Schmidt was basically used as a winger in the Championship, and that's when he decided to freeze Ramazani out. Does anyone really know what Isaac Schmidt's capable of defensively? Really and truly, do we? So it's one of those where if he wasn't trusted in the Championship, what should we throw him in now against Premier League opposition? It's a crazy one for me. uh, under the current coach. And yeah, that's where I am as well, Alan. Agree Firpo needs to go. Best of luck to him. That's exactly where I am. That's exactly where I am with it. So I guess we'll see where Firpo ends up, but I would think it's highly unlikely that he stays at Leeds United, and it would kind of scare me if he did. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of those. Colavar is saying Firpo going means we're gonna have to sign 2 left backs rather than 1, but that's how it's got to be. There's no cutting corners in the Premier League, man. There's no cutting corners. There's no point keeping somebody just because they play a certain position. They play there, so we just keep them just because. No, that's how you get relegated. That's how we went down before with 31 points. And at this point in time, people, I'm gonna give it to you real, as I always do. With this team as it is right now, we probably don't even get 31 points. Okay. So we need to make some real good drastic changes in a whole host of areas to make sure that we are competitive in this league. And also, when I say this about aiming for 12th, I honestly, when context is just lost on people, isn't it? I'm not saying we're going to finish 12th. I'm saying you aim for 12, which means that you're planning for above the bottom 3. Because if you're planning just to finish 17th, chances are you will get relegated. But if you're aiming for players that can help you hit mid-table, you've got more of a chance of survival and jumping over even more teams to get you out of a real tight relegation battle, which is ultimately what we want to do. So that's what I mean. I'm not saying we're going to finish 12. I wish we did. And if we do, awesome. But I'm saying you aim for 12. And I hope that just clears up the confusion with what I've said there, man. Let's have a look here. So yeah, with Firpo, we'll see what the next update is, but all the best to him. Emi Buendia, spoke about him yesterday, or was it the day before? Get lost with the days now, people. Honestly, yeah, I know. It's the thing is, I say it. I didn't just like write it out. I thought it was pretty clear. I didn't say we were going to finish 12, but some people thought. But yeah, you're right. You're right. It's true. It's true. Emi Buendia, spoke about him recently. The most recent one before this report was that we had sent over a 16.8 million fee bid, which just absolutely terrified me as well. But the latest, according to the Sun, so again, take it with a pinch of salt, if you will, Emi Buendia likely to be sent back on loan for the 25-26 campaign. The Argentinian is keen to stay in the Premier League this time around. Leeds United remain interested. And again, this could be another just lazy link because Emi Buendia is available. Danny Farkas is ex-manager. We're now in the Premier League. Put it together, and it's a journalist dream, isn't it? But all I would say in regards to this is that Emi Buendia on a loan is much more digestible to me than a 16.8 million permanent move. That thing I just could not rock with. But if we are going to use one of our 2, but we have to be careful as well because we've got 2 Premier League loan moves. And for me, they have to be regulars. If we're going to use the Premier League loans, we're going to have to make him probably a regular player. Does Emi Buendia, is he that now? Is he at this stage of his career? It's not about his age, it's about his fitness and where he is post his bad injury that he had. Is he a regular starter in this team? Under the current manager, he probably would be, but is he going to be consistent enough? It's an interesting one, isn't it? I put it in the poll. So I've put options in there, so you let me know, and I'm going to try and get the result before the end of the show. I'll try and remember, people. Carlos here, if it's Buendia or Hamer, I prefer Hamer. Buendia is a fitness issue. Fitness is an issue. Absolutely, yeah. And Lewis, yeah. Hope Leeds doesn't become a retirement home career revival club. Lewis, I've said it before, and it's a great point. This is what I'm talking about because I've seen the links before as well. We spoke about it before with Callum Wilson. If you're talking the talent of Callum Wilson, you take him. But he has literally been injured every single season of his career. And it's not going to like just slow down because he suddenly signs for Leeds United. Now he's going to stay fit for 38 games. It's not happening. He's just always a fitness issue. And we're going to speak about another one in just a moment. But yeah, we need to sign players who can thrive. At the moment, we've been linked, and including Buendia, by the way, we've been linked with players that we might need to have an extra medical room. Buendia, Phillips, Wilson. I mean, we're being linked with players here that have got a checkered injury history. And you know what? If you want to even throw him in there, because he's only had 1 year fit since his injuries, Mano Solomon too. Because he held up well last season, but that's still an ongoing thing as well. I just don't like what we've been linked with so far overall. I've got to say that I'm very, very underwhelmed, to say the least. But what I've already said, people, and it's right, Ali, he hasn't done anything. anything. But all I'm saying is, if it is a low move, I would much prefer that than a 16.8 million transfer where we're going to be stuck with him for 4 to 5 years. It just scares me. But yeah, yeah, we need to find healthy starters. We'll just throw these players on at 80 minutes. Stephen, absolutely. Throw sentiment in the bin, sign good players. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to make a point before, but Ali's point just took me off track. But yes, let's move on to the next one, because I'm not going to bring up the source. I'm going to wait until it's like corroborated by a few other people. But Kalvin Phillips, yet again, I'm just so sick of this. Honestly, I'm so sick of it, and I'm hoping that it's just because he was seen with Patrick Bamford on stage yesterday or whenever it was, why this has come back up today. But he's been linked with a £10 million move back to Leeds United, and guys, that's what I was going to say. If we are signing players like Kalvin Phillips or other ones that keep on getting mentioned and recycled over and over again, I will drop all my expectations of the kind of players that I've been talking about in transfer videos and say, all right, fine. We're obviously not trying to do anything substantial here. We're obviously hoping to finish 17th like Ipswich did last year and hoping for the best. But if we're going to sign half of the players we've been linked with, we are not surviving the Premier League. And it's as simple as that. There's no bias here. There's no rose tinted glasses here just to say these players are going to sign for Leeds United and everything's going to be okay. It doesn't work like that in football. You have to sign quality. But Kalvin Phillips here, rumored with a 10 million move. Kalvin Phillips right now doesn't even get past Tanaka or Ampadu. And I've even got an argument, and I want Gruev sold just to get more fluidity in midfield. He doesn't get past Gruev for me at this stage. And you want to have a little extra thing on this for Kalvin Phillips, people. You just want the cherry on the cake for this one. Kalvin Phillips has undergone surgery on an Achilles injury and is expected back fit in August. Guys, nothing in this Phillips link and the 49ers being the business people that they are makes a lick of sense to me. That's where I am. It doesn't make any sense to me when you're talking data, statistically, quality of the player. Nothing about it makes a lick of sense except for he's an old Leeds boy who's gone way off the boil. His quality's been found out without Bielsa. And now we're just trying to link promoted Leeds to Kalvin Phillips to rejuvenate his career and have that reunion. That's the only thing that makes sense. Because quite frankly, if we're being real, he should probably stick with Ipswich and do the championship route again. That's where he should be. Because I'm talking about midfielders that can move either Tanaka or anyone else in our starting 11, Aronson, down to the bench. He doesn't do that. I'd even stick with Aronson over Phillips. So for me with this, if we did go down this road, the 49ers would be no better than Radrizzani for me. And Victor Orta and that passion project that they had would be no different. Might as well go and see if Alioski's free. Is he free? We need a left back. Go get him. Put the band back together. This does absolutely nothing for me. And the only people this makes sense for is Man City to get his wages off the books for another year, or Kalvin Phillips so he can come back to Leeds where he's home and comfortable. That's the only people it makes sense for. For Leeds United on the pitch, it makes zero sense. He literally had a checkered. I mean, his West Ham, I've told you guys before, my West Ham buddies say he's one of the worst players they've ever seen at West Ham. And even Ipswich last season didn't get the much out of him. He was injured towards the end, and now he's gone for Achilles surgery. I mean, what is the conversation here, people? What is the conversation here? Is there one? Yeah, if we're linked with Phillips, may as well get Pablo back. It's insane. Oh, man. Yeah, get Click back as well. Just get the band back together. Honestly, people, some of the links, like I say, and I think it's only because it's this football club why it scares me, because we are guilty of this, and this fan base in general is just very emotional. Danny Farker does say it a lot, but he is right when he says that there is an emotional connection with some fans where they'll be thinking of Phillips under Bielsa being that absolute dynamo in midfield that he was in that period, thinking that he's going to replicate it in 2025. and it's not happening. But yeah, hopefully we are nowhere near this and we are moving on. I listen, people. I'm even looking at this because apparently Ange Postecoglou is leaving Spurs and Thomas Frank is a front runner. Now, Christian Norgard, I've mentioned him before on my videos. This is somebody who creates competition for your starting 11. This, for me, is one of the finest midfielders in the Premier League when it comes to what he does. Now, is he willing to leave Brentford for Leeds United? Maybe not. But if Thomas Frank does leave and he doesn't take him to Tottenham with him, if he does go there, this is who I would want to be in conversation with. Now, people will say, but Cage, you just signed a contract in March. Things change in football. Adam Wharton at Palace signed a contract at Blackburn in December, moved to Palace in January. Things change all the time in football. Unless someone has signed a brand new contract during this summer, I mean, even Cameron Archer last year, people, by the way, signed a new contract and then got sent out elsewhere to Southampton, didn't he? So things change all the time. But if Christian Norgard, if someone of this ilk came available, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Yeah, Paul saying here, I like Christian Norgard, must admit Brentford recruitment has been brilliant. Yeah, they know what they're doing there. They know what they're doing. No, he's not available on a free. He signed a new extension in March, so he's not free. But I'm saying the kind of fee that you need for this guy, just think about it. It's probably a cheaper deal overall than what Kalvin Phillips will cost in a fee in wages. By the way, until there's another thing on Kalvin Phillips, I'm not going to discuss it again. But this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. But if the club aren't looking in these kind of directions in terms of progressing this team, then we'll just have to go along with it. What else can we do? You know, we can't protest, we can't shout, just be shouting into a void. You just have to go along and hope for the best. But listen, transfer window is just open. But yeah, let's see. Um, yeah, he signed an extension. I was looking out for him, Cola. He was one of those where when it looked like we were going up, I was thinking, I'm looking at his situation and thinking, if he wanted a change of scenery, he would be absolutely perfect, man. He's such a good midfielder, such a good midfielder, so good. But yeah, um, at least no one is linking us with Archie yet. Yeah, that absolutely just no. But yeah, someone who we have been linked with and more likely will be in the mix for is Gus Hamer, and Danny Hall is over at the Sheffield Star side. And the reason why I say that is because Sheffield Star were the ones that broke everything last summer. They were on it with every update, whether it was Bogle or Hamer. They were the ones that were getting all the information. So it's probably worth a look out for them to see what's going on. But Sheffield United at the moment are in that situation where we were last year when we lost the playoff final, and they're hoping to keep players like we were hoping to get another year out of Somerville, hoping that Georgie would stay. But realistically, it wasn't going to happen, was it? And I think we all knew that eventually. But Gus Hamer, Sheffield United at this point, according to Danny Hall, are hoping that they can convince him to stay, although they believe that it's unlikely. And I think that's the case as well. Don't know what the fee would be, but out of all the links, people, I know a few of you aren't convinced by Gus Hamer. I'm not sure why. I gave the whole fitness reasons and everything else about his fitness being a myth, because it is. Please go and watch that video if you haven't already. Gave you actual facts and figures in that, not guesstimates or anything. He is actually a top quality player in terms of someone that should not be in the championship, much like when we had Somerville and he was just outperforming everybody. You can see that he was just a class above. Gus Hamer is that for me. And if you get Gus Hamer on a 2, 3, even a 3-year deal, you can do that with someone of Gus Hamer. He helps you in that instance, much like with Buendia at Villa, where he signs for them, gets them at the table, then you have to improve on that. Gus Hamer is that for me, and I do want Leeds United to go back in for him in this one. Direct here saying Harmer is okay. I just want the club to have more ambition. Yeah, and Direct, it wouldn't be the case of him being the only one. Again, talking as a fan only, in an ideal world, you'd sell Aronson, move him on, get in Harmer, and get yourself in another 8 as well. But it would be a real solid option. There's not a lot that he doesn't do. He does the defensive work. He's a very creative player, takes set pieces, can score free kicks. There's not a lot he doesn't do, and for the price that he possibly could be available for, I think it's just too good of an opportunity to look past. So we shall see what happens with this one. But yeah, Sheffield United trying the whole thing of we're going to try and keep the band together as much as possible. But we know in our second year down, it's not that easy, is it? LUFC Passion, Buendia or Harmer? It's Harmer every day of the week. It's not even close for me. It's not even close. Cola here saying, if you want an 8 out of 10 hybrid, why not Dewsbury Hall instead? Again, you're talking risk here. Dewsbury Hall has not played a lot of football. I like Dewsbury Hall, and I liked him a lot in the championship as well. And I do think that he's a Premier League player, but we don't know what we're getting there. You know, he really hasn't played, he hasn't kicked a lot of football. You know, he hasn't kicked a lot of ball under Chelsea, and that was his ex-gaffer in the championship as well. So obviously, Chelsea are in a different position. They have Enzo, they have Moises Caicedo, and a whole other options there. But even his old ex-gaffer who was with him at Leicester during promotion said, you know, you're not on the level here. Obviously, we're nowhere near that, so I need to make that clear. But yeah, Dewsbury Hall, if you can arrange a loan for that, if you're using a Premier League loan for a Dewsbury Hall, I'm in for that. I'm in for that, honestly. Absolutely not Sly. Callum O'Hare. Oh God, no. Uh, So yeah, so there's Gus Hamer there, and just something else as well. I mean, this seems very Brentford heavy, by the way. It wasn't meant to be, but with Bayer Leverkusen signing Mark Flecken, obviously now that kind of opens the door for Brentford to get Kelleher. But the reason why I want to bring this up is Mark Flecken, who was absolutely solid for Brentford last season, by the way, played all the games, bar one, I think. He's gone to Bayer Leverkusen for 10 million euros, people. That's under 10 million pounds, which just shows you the quality of goalkeepers you can get without spending an absolute fortune. Now, of course, if Brentford are dealing with Leeds, maybe that fee is higher just due to being a fellow Premier League team. I'm aware of that. But the fact that you can go on the market and get solid goalkeepers for under 10, it tells you everything about that position where you can sign quality without breaking the bank. And you know, all these things about Ramsdale available for 25 million, let him be available for 25 million. Okay, we don't need to touch anything like that. See, that's what I mean. Those kind of links scare the life out of me. You know what I mean? I already talk about Eli Melier being like that special needs kid in class, in a set one class where he's holding everyone back. Set one kids want to do a little bit more because they've already completed their work. Meanwhile, Eli Melier is just still writing his name. Aaron Ramsdale would be like the hyper special needs kid where he's just a nightmare and you can't control him and you got to send him out the class every 2 minutes. I just want no parts of it. So I'm hoping that Leeds United are being astute and everything else with their goalkeeping recruitment and can go and get a bargain out there. I've named so many goalkeepers on this in this window already. I don't need to go through them again. But there is goalkeepers out there that can absolutely be your number ones without having to spend 25 million on them, honestly. Talk Sport here. Oh, okay, Carlos saying here, Talk Sport said it would be at around 18 million for Keller to Brentford. Great value if it's true. I mean, yeah, listen, good for them. Good for them. But what I'm saying is if we're going to spend 18 million on a goalkeeper, get me someone like Livakovic. That's great value to me. If Nick Pope became available, I know he's got a bit of a shoulder, checkered injury history with that, but he came back strong last season, was very strong for Newcastle as they secured Champions League football. You go for a Nick Pope. There's just so many goalkeepers out there, people that you can get. And I mean, even the one I mentioned in terms of Juve as well, that's been relegated from League One. There's just solid goalkeepers out there, people, man. Honestly. Oh, okay, right. Let me just get this one here. Someone's saying here, just been confirmed on Sky Brentford signing Keller for initial 12.5 million. Yeah. So probably rising to 18. Yeah. And someone here saying, why are we not going for him? There's a couple of things with that, Brett. Why are we not going for him? Maybe he wants to go to Brentford. Brett, it's one of those where maybe he wants to go to an already established Premier League team. Maybe he sees that as his next step in his development, being a solid goalkeeper there. Then maybe moving back into the top six rather than going to what is currently a relegation scrap and being out of sight if we get relegated. So it could be for that reason, Brett. There's always a reason why probably we're not in for him, or why the goalkeeper wants, or a player wants to move to a certain club. Who's BL? Problem is, KG, BL has Champions League, and we don't. Oh, who have I been talking about? Someone with BL. You gotta let me know. Let me know. Donnie here saying here, I know it's early, mate, but the links mentioned in the title are relegation fodder to me. Yeah, absolutely. Bayer Leverkusen. Yes, of course. Yep. No. I'm talking about with this as well because Kepa was was linked to them before. And again, Kepa is another one where Chelsea need to offload players. I've mentioned Petrovic from Chelsea too, but Kepa as well, who had an absolutely brilliant season for Bournemouth. And there's no issues for me if it's a loan or permanent. I said that with Joan Garcia yesterday, who at the moment, by the way, update on that, seems that Barcelona may want to keep him in competition with Ter Stegen. So I don't know what's going on there. The point being, yes, of course, Champions League football trumps a potential relegation battle. Anyone with common sense can probably tell you that. But now with Flecken going there, Kepa was linked with them before. Obviously, Ten Hag has gone a different route. Imagine getting a Kepa in at our level as someone of that experience. That was someone with that kind of winning mentality. He'd be inexpensive to deal wages wise, but that's what you pay for. You pay those kind of wages for that kind of player, not for a Kalvin Phillips. You go and get someone who's going to save you points, and that's what Kepa would do for us. But yeah, Bayer Leverkusen, I got it. Sly, are you a troll? What's with all these names, man? He's probably one of the worst centre backs I've ever seen. He's like on Titus Bramble level. Kola here saying here, Petrovic for me, or would it be riskier Restet from Toulouse? No, Petrovic is solid, man. I mentioned him in a recent video. Again, he could be available from Chelsea as well. They've just got a stack of talent that needs to be moved on due to PSR reasons. And Petrovic had a solid year, but again, they may want to send him back out to their sister club, Strasbourg, as they've entered European competition. So they could be sending him back out on loan again. But again, you've got to be in those kind of conversations for me. That's for me how you show ambition and show potential signings that you're serious about not just being relegation fodder. Signing a Kalvin Phillips and whoever else we've kind of mentioned is kind of like, I think Ipswich could have done that last year. Southampton could have done it. Leeds United, Parag, you said you can be different. Leeds is different. I need you to show me. Just show me all these links. Just paper fodder, please do that. Lewis here saying Melier's got his confidence back as a young goalkeeper. That is most important. Farker probably, yeah, he's got to be moving this summer as well. And that's as well, people. It's not just about incomings. I need to see some links about outgoings as well. That again will show me how ruthless this club is being. We've just been promoted as champions. This is this big emotional club that fans get attached to players and want the whole group to stay together, thinking they could do it in the Premier League, where it's not realistic. I need the board to come out, or reports to be coming out about Leeds are trying to move on, so-and-so, even after promotion and the performances in the Championship. Leeds are moving on this player. That's how you know you're a serious football club. Villa did it. Forest did it. Brentford did it to a point as well, moving on players that couldn't make the step up and bringing in new players. Brighton do it. All serious football clubs do it, man. And that's just how you have to be. Cole is saying here, Metz to Strasbourg, Petrovic lead, everyone wins. Yeah, everyone except Strasbourg, but salute to them. Carl here saying here, Kepa would be a very good signing, loan or permanent. Wouldn't mind Hermansen from Leicester and then give them the Harrison in the deal. Yeah, the Hermansen one for me is a no, and that's just purely on the basis I actually liked him in the Championship, but he got injured a couple of times this season, and for me, there's just something. I know it sounds bad, but for me, when a goalkeeper gets hurt so many times in one season, I have to look at that a bit funny, because that's probably the most durable place to be in goal. There shouldn't be many reasons why you're getting hurt, and he got injured a couple of times for Leicester this season. So for me, I wouldn't take him. If we got him in as the number 2, then okay, I could deal with that. Move Darlow to number 3. I'd be okay with that. But you need an absolute number 1 out there for me. Genghis Khan. It takes 10 minutes for Brentford to replace their goalkeeper, but it takes us 3 years just to think about it. Yeah, that's been the issue, and that's why in the back of my head I'm thinking, nah, Kalvin Phillips doesn't make sense. But then when it comes to this football club, you just don't know, do you? You just never know, and you're hoping it's a new era. Turn the page, everything is different, but just because of that history with us being the way that we've been, this player should have been sold this summer, but no, we're going to keep him. And it's like, oh God, what are we doing here? And you just think, surely not. But look, this is the summer. This is the summer where Bamford, Melier, who's the other one that we keep speaking about? Who's the other one? Bamford, Melier. Can't even think. But yeah, this is the kind of summer where this has got to be it for those players, and that is it. It's got to be it now. Yeah, little Brentford being ahead of us is very odd. It's not odd when you do things properly off the pitch, Carlos. We've got all the tools to be. Parag has recently said it upon promotion. We've got all the tools to be one of the best teams in Europe in a few years. But we kind of heard this from Andrea. I want to get into Europe in the next 5 years. But then you keep in Click around. You keep in Tyler Roberts in the team, hoping that Bielsa can work the magic again. It doesn't work like that in football. And I do think that Parag will have learned lessons being in the background and everything else like that under the old regime. So hopefully it will be different this time around. Byram, Harrison, yeah, Harrison's got to go as well. But yeah, I think that will be it. I don't see any way for him to come back. I really don't. He's not a Premier League player. He's kind of proven it over the last couple of years as well. But yeah, and FV White here as we get ready to close off, and I'm going to get to the poll in a second. See, I haven't forgotten. Say that now, I might forget just before we do it. Some fresh faces, not recycled fodder. Yeah, that would excite me as well, FV. Just some names, even some I haven't heard of. If the club have scouted them and feel that they are best prepared for the Premier League, I'm all for it. But some of the names that we've heard of, and I just know already if they were to sign, I slot them into the team. This is what I do. This is how I break everything down. When we're linked to a player, I imagine where are they fitting in? Do they take someone's place from the starting 11, or do they even make the bench? And if I'm not replacing some of the players we've been linked with in the first 11, I don't see the point of doing it because we've got to move those first 11 players, some of them anyway, down to the bench. So the recruitment has to make sense for me like that in order for me to go, Leeds have got a realistic chance of being better than at least 3 of the worst teams in the Premier League next season. It has to be like that. But yeah, listen, people. Yeah, I almost did it again. Let me just end the poll here. Buendia on loan, a good move. Let's have a look. Yes, much on loan, a good move. Yeah, yes, much better than a permanent, 63%. No, we need to look elsewhere, 29%. No, I want him permanently, 6%. Okay, let's go. So yeah, a lot of people think that the Buendia loan would be much more digestible, but of course, it all depends what we add before that as well, because we would only be having 2 loan spots in the Premier League. So that is it from Premier League teams. Let me just say that so it's not out of context. You can only loan from 2 clubs or 2 players from Premier League clubs. There we go. Hope that's clear. Lewis here saying outgoings would also attract some players to come in. I mean, well, it all depends. It all depends with that one, Lewis, because if they feel like a position, there's no position that we've currently got right now where there's an outright number one, is there? I don't think so. Everywhere you look in our team, there's room for someone to move down to the bench, in my opinion, every single position. So there's always a way that you can still get in recruits to say you're going to complement this team and probably start ahead, or you're going to be in battle with. That's probably the best thing to say to a player rather than you're going to be an outright starter, because sometimes you can't guarantee it. But yeah, I don't think any outgoings really do that for us at this stage. Maybe last summer, if we still had like Jorginho and Somerville, Archie Gray and those guys, but I don't think we really got those now. Really don't. But yeah, Maz, we'll end this one as well. Nice to be having these conversations. Now we're up. Yeah, it's nice to be doing this. Just think this time last year we was thinking, well, who could be available for a second year down in the championship, and you're having to really look around and go, ugh, those kind of like searches suck. This is much better, but hopefully Leeds United board are in, doing all the work behind the scenes, and we get something done soon. As long as it makes sense for Leeds United, of course. But that is it for this show, people. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like the video before you go. Really does help out the channel and its visibility. Thank you to all members of the channel. Big up to all of you for that support. If you want to become a member of the channel, the link is in the description. And big up to Mr. P and Gene Kelly. I always get this Keen Jelly. Of course it is Keen Jelly. Sorry for the super thanks in the last video. Much appreciated, guys, for the support. And if you want to donate via super thanks, that is in the comment section also. Guys, see you in the next one. Don't know when it's going to be. The thing is with transfer season, I finished this one. I could be back in an hour. That's how transfers work. But listen, people, see you in the next one. Hit the notification bell so you know when I'm going live. See you in the next video, people. Peace out.